What if the people who go quiet aren't running from anyone? What if they simply noticed something about human behavior that nobody around them had noticed yet? Have you ever left a message unopened on purpose? Skipped an invitation you would have said yes to 2 years ago? Felt strangely far from people you genuinely still love? If any of that sounds like you, nothing is wrong with you. Psychologists have found that as self-awareness grows, people become quietly ruthless about where their attention goes. What looks like withdrawal from the outside is almost always construction on the inside. In the next few minutes, you'll understand the real reasons intelligent people slowly vanish from everyone's life. And the final one will change how you see someone you've already lost. The first reason has nothing to do with ego and everything to do with vision. For years, life feels simple. People say what they mean. Friendships feel solid. You believe what you're told because you've never had a reason not to. Then something shifts. You start noticing the pause before someone says they're happy for you, the advice that's really a warning, the friend who asks how you've been and then waits for their turn, the person who stayed close through every failure and went strangely quiet the moment something finally worked. Psychologists call this pattern recognition, and the hard part is that it doesn't switch off. Once your brain learns to read what sits underneath a sentence, it never goes back to hearing only the sentence. So people don't become worse, they become visible. And the distance doesn't begin because they stopped caring. It begins because they stopped mistaking company for connection. But this is where it gets stranger than most people expect. Intelligent people don't disappear because they love being alone. They disappear because noise starts costing more than it gives. Research suggests that highly self-aware people burn far more mental energy on the same conversation everyone else is having. While others hear words, they're tracking intent. While others enjoy the evening, part of them is quietly reading the room, which means every conversation runs twice, once out loud and once underneath. That isn't a mood, it's a workload. It's why a table full of genuinely kind people can leave you more drained than a full day of work. So slowly, the question changes. It stops being how many people know me. It becomes who actually understands me? And the moment that question takes over, the circle starts shrinking on its own. But the reason behind that shrinking is not what almost anyone assumes. Most people think a smaller circle is a verdict, that somewhere along the way, you decided everyone else wasn't good enough. It's almost never that. A psychologist named Laura Carstensen spent years studying why social circles get smaller as people age and found the cause wasn't loss. It was time. When we feel our time is unlimited, the mind collects more names, more contacts, more options just in case. When we sense time is limited, the mind edits, automatically, down to whoever actually matters. And the trigger was never age, it was awareness. Anyone who truly registers that a chapter is ending begins pruning the same way. Now think about what self-awareness really is. It's the ability to feel, honestly, that your time runs out. So they don't cut people off because they've outgrown them. They do it because somewhere quietly they counted how many free Sundays they have left. That isn't arrogance, it's arithmetic. But here's the misunderstanding that costs them the most. Everyone assumes they enjoy being alone because they don't like people. It's usually the exact opposite. They didn't fall in love with solitude, they fell in love with quiet. Because for the first time, silence isn't empty. It's the only place where their own thoughts aren't competing with everyone else's expectations. And in that quiet, something starts rebuilding. They read more, they think further. They start questioning beliefs they were handed instead of ones they chose. Eventually, they stop needing approval from people who never understood them anyway, because confidence built out of applause disappears the second the applause does. So the question changes one more time. Not how do I fit in, but does this life actually look like me? To everyone watching, it looks like they left. What actually happened is that they stopped leaving themselves. And the final reason is the one that changes everything. Nobody disappears overnight. They disappear one realization at a time. One evening, they stop arguing with someone who already decided not to understand them. A month later, they stop showing up for a friendship that only exists when they're useful. And eventually, without announcing anything, they start building a life that doesn't need permission. From the outside, it looks sudden. Inside, it's been happening for years. But one thing is worth saying honestly, because this can go wrong. There's a version of this that isn't growth. It's hiding with better vocabulary. And the difference isn't whether your circle got smaller, it's whether anyone got closer. Real selection has a direction. The energy you took back has to land somewhere, in 2 or 3 people who now get the honest version of you, in work that got better, in a life that finally feels like yours. If everything shrank and nothing deepened, that wasn't clarity, that was retreat. So if you've been stepping back from people lately, don't ask whether you're becoming cold. Ask whether you're running from a life you don't want or walking toward one you finally do. Because sometimes the people who look like they vanished were never lost at all. They were just done pretending, and that's usually the first moment anyone truly sees them. If this made you look at someone differently, or maybe at yourself, subscribe for more videos that decode the patterns behind why people do what they do. And tell me in the comments, have you ever quietly disappeared from someone's life? Or did someone disappear from yours? See you in the next one.